Xterra, it's triathlon, right? But it's more like the off-road thing. What are sort of distances involved there with the Xterra, the ones in particular that you do?
Yeah, so Xterra is essentially an Olympic distance race. If you compare it to the road racing distances, it's a 1.5 kilometer swim, and then about a 30 kilometer mountain bike ride, and then 10 kilometer trail run. Obviously, it's off road, so the distances are never exact, and it always sort of fluctuates. But the winning times are right around sort of 2 hours to 2 hours 10 minutes, depending on the course and the terrain.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, it's obviously quite a bit shorter than an Ironman race. And being off road was definitely what was very appealing to me. I really enjoyed riding my mountain bike and being in nature, and sort of developing the skills on that side of things just seemed a lot more appealing to me. I was also not the greatest swimmer when I started triathlon, so the road racing stuff was a little bit beyond my reach. Whereas Xterra, I could kind of lose a bit of time in the water, but then make it back on the mountain bike and still kind of be in contention for a good result by the end of the run. Whereas like the Olympic distance racing format, the guys who were actually gunning for the Olympic Games, they all came from very strong swimming backgrounds, and um, in that format of racing, you really need to be a strong swimmer. So unfortunately, I kind of missed that boat because I was a very weak swimmer starting my triathlon journey. But yeah, I was very grateful that I had sort of the Xterra route to develop my triathlon skills. And then after winning my second Xterra World title in 2019, I decided to go back to the road and kind of just explore that side of it. My first 70.3 was in East London in 2018, I think it was. And the first, I remember crossing the line. I think I was third or fourth in the race, and I told my wife, like, I'll never do another one of these. That was the
Classic.
hardest thing I've ever done. And then all of a sudden, it was all I was focused on doing. So deep down, I think we actually enjoy the hard stuff more than we like the easy stuff. And yeah, I think again, it just comes back to that feeling of accomplishment and that sense of achievement, something that seemed so daunting to you and almost like unreachable. And all of a sudden, it's like the thing that you almost most well known for is pretty cool journey.
100%, man. And you know what? I like the fact you touched on the swimming there, hey, because you know what? You probably know as well as I do. That's probably one of the most common excuses outside of I don't have enough time is that, oh, I'm not a good swimmer or I'm a shit swimmer or I just can't swim, you know? And I always say to people, you can take any living creature and throw it in the water, it will swim. It might drown eventually, but it'll swim initially, you know? So we just kind of got to tweak that. And those are those little pearls that come up on these episodes. And I'm sitting talking to a world pro, a world champion, who's there saying, I'm a really bad swimmer. I'm obviously quite good now, but people have that doubt. I can't do it because I can swim. Here's a perfect example. I'm going to shout out now to the guys listening and watching the show. There's a perfect example. If you just take it on, someone will show you, and there is a way. We've all got that ability in us. I 100% believe that. I've got no doubt that absolutely everyone has got that ability to get there. You might not win it or be the world champ or go, but you can absolutely damn do that thing, you know? So you said you went on
Yeah.
the road and you found that tougher. So I've only ever done one off-road triathlon. It was one of the first ones I did. It was up the north coast of Durban there. I'm trying to remember that, Tunzini or something like that. And it bucketed with rain. It was absolute disaster mud. Brilliant race. We swam in a river, and the swim was my strength, so I did okay. Um, the bicycles, you just couldn't change gears after the first loop, and I think it was about a 7 loop through the cane fields. It was magic, absolute magic. And I got to say, I enjoyed it a lot more. But certainly, and I've done a few trail runs with some mates, and you think you're fit and you're healthy until you get on a trail, eh? It's a completely different ball game, eh? But so you transitioned the other way around. You went from the off-road stuff to the 70.3s on the road, and you say you found that harder. Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah, saying it's harder is maybe not the correct way. It just felt a lot more brutal because like you come out the water, get on a time trial bike, and it's like, okay, you're gonna go 45 k's in this direction, do it, go around a turn buoy or a turning circle, and come back another 45 k's. It's just yeah, it just seemed like really physically demanding. Whereas with Xterra, you have all the technical side that comes with it. practicing descents. I would usually, with an exterior race, I'd travel out to the venue a week in advance and pre-ride the course 4 or 5 times before the race itself, and learn all the descents. And it just seemed like mentally it was a bit easier because you were focused on the technical aspects and not just the suffering, where it seemed like with the Ironman side, it was just suffering. There wasn't much to think about.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a learning curve for me. And also just not coming from a time trialing background, it took me a bit of time to get comfortable on the TT bike.
Yeah.
But then obviously, as I ventured a little bit more into the sport, I found courses that potentially suited me a little bit better. And in 2019, I raced my first 70.3 World Championships, which was in Nice. And I went up some pretty big climbs. And that was it really suited me well, coming from like a mountain biking background.
Okay.
And I think I finished 7th at that World Championships. So that was my first like kind of step into the road, or into the world of road racing, or at least the Ironman format of triathlon racing. And the bugger then really bitten, and then I really wanted to like venture into that discipline a bit more and see how far I could take it.